I want to tell you that you can do this. I may not know you personally, but I believe in you. Let me ask you a question, and I want you to be completely honest with yourself. Are you 100% happy and passionate about what you're doing in life right now? Are you passionate about your work or your job or your career? Even if just a little part of you feels like, yeah, I don't really love it, or you think work is supposed to be hard, that's why it's work, then please continue watching this video because I'm gonna tell you how to live intentionally. In this video, I'm gonna explain what steps you need to take in order to live a fulfilled life in your career. This is coming from someone who's personally done it themselves. Look, life is very short, especially right now. We're in very uncertain times, so it's important to really seize the day. And I don't wanna hear,
well, what I'm doing right now pays the bills and I have work and blah, blah, blah.
Those are just excuses. If you've been waiting for a sign, this is your sign. Get out a pen and paper and get ready to take some notes. But first, play that intro. Hey guys, what's up? My name is Jordan Miller. I'm the owner and founder of Breathe Heavy, a pop music news community reaching over 300,000 people in any given month. If you've never been to Breathe Heavy, I encourage you after your YouTube video binge to head over to breatheheavy.com and please create an account. It's free, it takes about 30 seconds, and you're gonna be joining a community of like-minded people who love pop music and pop culture. The ultimate goal of my new YouTube channel is to inspire you. I have gained so much experience running Breathe Heavy these last 16 years, and it's really important to me to be able to share that wisdom and experience with you. My hope is that a lot of this information resonates with you and it inspires you to become a better person and ultimately an entrepreneur. Or if you just have no interest in becoming an entrepreneur and like the stability a 9-to-5 brings, then please continue to watch this video anyway because it's gonna offer you some wisdom that you can use in your day-to-day life. If you're interested in becoming an entrepreneur or running your own business or really taking control over your own career, then I encourage you to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Do that by hitting the subscribe button, the like button, and the notification bell. What that does is that tells YouTube people are engaging with my YouTube channel, and in return they show my channel to more people and I get to grow, which means I get to create more awesome content for you. Running Breathe Heavy for more than 16 years has given me so much information to share with you, and I want you to be able to benefit. The Lord knows I've had my fair share of experiences. Starting a business can be extremely overwhelming. Even though I've been doing Breathe Heavy for so long, even now, whenever I think of a new idea or I want to execute something that I've never done before, a wave of anxiety crashes over me and I begin to doubt myself, tell myself,
that's a stupid idea, I'm gonna fail, that's not good enough.
And the worst thought that comes to mind is, Jordan, just stick to what you know works.
Just stick to what you've always done.
Complacency, my friends, is our worst enemy. It's literally one of the biggest roadblocks to becoming a better person, to growing, to really influencing any sort of change in your life. So let's just start simply. The first thing that you're gonna need to do when embarking on new change, potentially embarking on a career change or really taking control over your own entrepreneurship, is to decide what you want to do. What interests you? There's a zillion YouTube videos out there and tons of books about this, but ultimately, if I had to give you any advice in a nutshell, it's to follow your passions. Now, I know that sounds cliche, but honestly, it's very easy to get wrapped up in ideas that you think might be lucrative, but you're just not that excited about. It's very important to decide now before taking any action of running a business to decide what you want to do. Because if you're not doing something that fires you up, something that you think about as soon as you wake up or what you're thinking about as you go to bed, then bottom line is you're not gonna be able to do it for that long. You could probably will your way through it for a while, but not forever. We're thinking of a long-term game plan right now. Straight up, doing something you don't love is not sustainable. That's probably why being an entrepreneur at some point has crossed your mind, because you're not 100% happy with what you're doing right now. Please know that this can change no matter how much your brain wants to stop you from thinking so. I want to be clear that there's a huge misconception that work should feel hard. What you're actually feeling, in my opinion, is resistance, because you just don't want to do it.
But Jordan, part of being an adult is doing things we don't want to do.
I'm here to tell you, my friends, that's a lie. I personally do what I love to do every single day, and no one has to force me to do it. No one has to tell me one way or another. I've chosen my path, and I'm teaching you right now how to do that too. Please listen up. Our society has literally created this world where we feel like we have to take out a huge student loan, go to school, figure out what we want to do, and then hopefully once we graduate, we get a well-paying job that helps us pay back that student loan. But we're in really uncertain times. So to me, it's more important now than ever to do what you want to do in life. By the way, I personally also have student loan debt, so I know what that rain cloud feels like, but a rain cloud that I don't have is having to do something every single day that I don't want to do. I don't have the Sunday scaries or the Monday blues. Mondays are just as exciting to me as Saturdays. That's because I absolutely love running my own business. I want to point out that it hasn't always been this way though. I actually worked as a graphic designer for a marketing firm creating email blasts for several years before deciding to take the plunge and diving into Breathe Heavy full time. I can confidently say that running my own business is far more challenging than it was doing a 9-to-5, but far more rewarding. Part of running my own business means I can't just clock out at 5 p.m., but it's also provided me a sense of invaluable fulfillment that I just didn't get working a 9-to-5. And I want to share that magic in a bottle so you also can feel what I feel and really take control over your own life. Now, I don't want you to think I'm judging you or anyone who works a 9-to-5. There are a lot of people who find great stability working a 9-to-5. And honestly, my parents before they retired worked a 9-to-5, and my brother, he also works a 9-to-5, and they think I'm crazy. And it's so funny because of my perspective, I look at them and I'm like,
why would you want to do that?
So I can understand where there could be a little bit of dissonance here, but just know this is coming from a good place. The absolute biggest hurdle you'll face when running your own business is to smash that like button. No, really though, the biggest obstacle you're gonna face is yourself. Your brain is gonna wanna stop you from pursuing your dreams and taking risk at all costs. Obviously, I'm no psychologist or anyone in the medical field. This is just my own perspective and my own experiences, but I personally found that it was my mind that tried to stop me and still continually does try to stop me from moving forward and taking risk. Millions of years ago, when we were all cavemen, we had this primitive part of our brain that would stop us from taking certain risks because it was trying to save us from certain death. Cut forward to now, we don't have to go hunting and gathering to stay alive, but we still have this part of our brain that's trying to keep us safe, trying to keep us alive. It's not very rational thinking, it's more of a fight or flight response. But then there's another part of our brain, a more conscious part of our brain, that can understand that we have a primitive side to ourselves and can kind of override that primitive thinking. It's gonna be your biggest challenge moving forward in all areas of life, whether you wanna become an entrepreneur or not, to override that primitive thinking. This can be done by living intentionally. And by living intentionally, that means practicing gratitude, living in the moment, and taking calculated risks. So your primitive brain's main job is to keep you alive, so it wants to stop you from moving forward in certain areas, because moving forward means change, and change is unknown, and therefore unknown could equal threat. And our primitive brain doesn't like threat, right? It wants to be comfortable, and it always resorts to what we know from the past. The past hasn't killed us, because we're still alive. The future could. Just know that that thinking pattern is normal, and it's possible to really lean into it and make friends with it. Now, what's so interesting is that even if we launched a business and the worst case scenario happened and we lost everything, we're not gonna die. Even if your brain thinks that you're going to die, you're not gonna die. Now, this brings me to opportunity cost. By not pursuing certain opportunities, like running your own business or becoming an entrepreneur, you lose out on what could potentially be a better, more colorful future. And that's something you'd be kicking yourself for when you're on your deathbed. Now, not to be morbid, but if you are on your deathbed and someone asks you, what's something that you regretted in your life? I find it really hard to believe you're gonna say you regretted going for your dreams. I would imagine you saying you not going for your dreams is something that you regretted. You regretted staying complacent because you were too scared to take that risk. Well, my friends, that stops today because you're gonna make a promise to take a chance on yourself. If you're down to take a chance on yourself, drop me a line in the comments. That, my friends, is the first most essential piece of information for running your own business, is doing the mental thought work ahead of launching any sort of initiative to launch a new career or become an entrepreneur. It's to make a promise to yourself that you're gonna do the mental work to move forward to take that risk, even if it feels scary. Now, whether that means starting a side hustle while you're doing your full-time job in order to kind of build up momentum and make that side hustle eventually become a full-time job, or if that means taking your current side hustle and jumping in head first and making it your full-time gig. I want you to remember that this advice I'm giving you is coming from someone who's personally done this themselves. In 2012, I came to a crossroads. Am I gonna stay a full-time employee in marketing doing something I don't like at all? Or am I gonna take a chance on myself and run Breathe Heavy full-time? Side note, just make sure whatever you're about to do financially makes sense for you, that you're not gonna start to do a full-time gig when the money's just not there. There is something to be said about jumping off the cliff and learning how to fly, but for the sake of this video, I just wanna make sure that you're being smart about it and taking calculated risks. AKA take risks, but don't be reckless. Let me tell you, deciding to run Breathe Heavy full-time is honestly the best decision I've ever made. Now, you might be thinking,
yeah, Jordan, that's easy for you to say. You have Breathe Heavy, you already have a big following, there's 300,000 people that read your website every single month, blah, 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 blah.
But for all intents and purposes, this YouTube channel is brand new. There's really not that many people following it just yet, and I'm hoping that I can show people that if you take a chance on yourself, that you take a risk, that there could be a major reward in the end. The reward for me is being able to hopefully inspire others and have some sort of influence on their decision making when it comes to becoming an entrepreneur. Basically what that means is that I'm taking a chance, I'm scared to do YouTube, it honestly gives me a little bit of anxiety, but I recognize that and I'm saying, screw you. And I'm gonna do it anyway. Because my primitive brain is saying, don't do YouTube, continue to write stories, you're comfortable with that. But my more conscious mind knows that that is just scared thinking and to put that aside and take the risk anyway. And now that I've been doing more YouTube videos, I'm getting more comfortable and this is becoming my new norm. So it's not gonna always be scary for me, and just like you, if you're wanting to take a risk or do something new, it's not gonna always be scary and always be this unknown. It's only a known because you've never done it before. Once you start doing it and you get more comfortable and get into the swing of things, it's gonna become your new norm and you're gonna be able to look for other things that push you outside of your comfort zone. And once you start doing that, the act of trying to better yourself more and more is when you really begin to be inspirational. And inspiration is one of the most powerful emotions that I think a human can experience. Inspiration is cultivated by taking action on yourself despite not maybe wanting to. It's kind of like this. If you go to the gym and you work out once, you're not gonna walk out of the gym with muscles and just a totally different physique. It takes time. You have to go to the gym over and over for years to really see any sort of results. Once you see you're becoming a better person by intentionally taking steps to move the needle forward, you become fired up and you want to be able to share that with others. Launching a YouTube channel is something I attempted to do for over a decade, but I always cowered away because it was scary and it was unknown territory to me. I just felt uncomfortable in front of the camera. And sure, I still get obsessive a little bit about
the stats and the numbers and who subscribed this week and how many views this video got.
But ultimately, I know that this YouTube channel is not about the stats. It's about trying to better myself and put myself out of my comfort zone. And hopefully you're watching this and some of this is resonating with you and you're getting amped up to push to become better. So if you're watching this video all the way up to this point, congratulations. Something in you resonates with this and you're looking for a change. Whether you're completely cognizant of that or not is fine. Just know that you're taking the first baby step, and that's huge. Now, if the thought of change feels very scary to you, I want to remind you that it's supposed to feel scary. If it doesn't feel frightening to you, then your dreams aren't big enough. Your risk isn't big enough. Remember, there's a more conscious part of your brain that can override the primitive part that's making it feel so scary. Just tell yourself, you understand it's scary, I know it's supposed to be this way, and yet I'm gonna do it anyway. It's important to take that leap of faith. I wanna tell you that you can do this. I may not know you personally, but I believe in you. What I want for you is for you to be able to look in the mirror and tell yourself that as well. If you have any questions or wanna share something you may be fearful of, or have a business idea, or maybe just need some words of encouragement, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll leave you with my favorite quote of all time. It's a quote that I heard in 4th grade, and I think about it every single day. Fall down 7 times, stand up 8. Sending you lots of love and good vibes, and remember, you got this. Play that outro.